everyone for joining us on Saturday morning. This is going to be a eventful 1 hour, session with experience sharing from young professionals from IEEE. So we have three young professionals, Karthik, Ujaya, as well as Chris. So just to give a brief intro, I'm Ramachandra Handragal. I'm the co-chair of the virtual career fair, which is scheduled for 30th October, and I'm a senior manager into digital transformation space. And a quick intro about our three SMEs or young professionals who are going to share their experience are first one, Ujia Lin. So Ujia Lin is an application engineer at Discover, building secure IVR platforms and combating AI voice clone fraud. So an IEEE YP volunteer, IEEE senior member and AWS solution architect associate, Ujia shares practical behavioral and system design interviewing tips grounded in real production and on-call experience. Thanks, Ujia. Thanks for joining us today. Next one, Karthik. One sec. What is the English? Okay. So something. Sorry for that. Karthik Srinivasan is a staff system engineer specializing in hardware in the loop, verification and validation for autonomous vehicles. With over a decade of experience in automotive and autonomous systems, he has played a pivotal role in developing HIL, hardware in loop, and verification and validation strategies for level 4 autonomous trucks in torque robotics. His experience includes designing HIL test environment, system integration, and test for safety critical vehicle systems. Karthik has a master's degree in electrical engineering from Michigan Technological University. He is passionate about AV safety and scalable validation frameworks and has actively contributed to advancing the field of autonomous mobility with 4 filed US patents. That's great. Then we have Chris joining us. Christopher is principal engineer at DTE Energy, a diversified energy company based out of Detroit, Michigan. He works in electric power distribution for customers in Metro Detroit area. As an IEEE volunteer, Christopher serves as the Young Professionals Committee Chair for Region 4. Christopher recently completed a Masters of Science in Engineering at University of Michigan, Dearborn. And this in his free time, Christopher enjoys coaching middle school cross country, traveling, following Detroit sports team, and spending time with his Siberian Husky Max. That's great. So the thanks all of you, all three of you joining us today. So we will be having the structure of this particular session would be like all our young professionals, they will share their experience 15 minutes each, and all of you participants, you will be on mute and you will be asking questions by like typing that question in the chat room. So that's a plan. They will share their 15 minutes experience. Then we will take up the questions at the end. So first, I would request Ujia Lin to share his experience.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear
Okay.
you.
So actually, I prepared the presentation. So the deck, may I share my screen?
Please go ahead.
Okay. Yes. Can you guys see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah. So today I want to talk about the like interview with a confidence and repeatable frameworks. So you can use that framework like during your real like interviewing. So go to next. So I want to introduce by myself and who am I. Um, actually, I'm Yu Jialing. So I build a security, safe, and high reliable voice applications and mental engineers on interviewing. So for the next like 15 minutes, I will tell you like 2 repeatable framework, like STAR plus R for behavior question and like 5 steps for the system design interview. So and also I will plus a quick plan like to use IEEE resource for you like practice and the interview. Um, why I focus on this one? Because the interview reward clear thinking under the time pressure. So I think the same like habits that keep the production system reliable and safe. So only risk communication trade-offs. So also make you like answer strong. So that is a mindset we will practice today. The next. So the second one is like I want to talk about confidence and the communication. So usually confidence equals like practicing plus practice. Like practicing like you will like write down your story, like own story. Usually I will prepare like 3 stories or up to like 6 stories, because when you like interview someone, um you should like um tell them the stories, but you need to prepare well, because during the short time you need thinking like a lot of like details. So you should tell someone, the interviewer, for the like some like key points, what you found and what you get, what is the result. So you will like using the numbers. So that reason you should like prepare. For the system design, usually you will like prepare some like diagram. So you will list the checklist, and you will prepare the system design interview very well. And you should like tell them what is like about like trade-off. So what is like um technology tech stacks you will not using, and some like technology is a very like high importance you will using it. So that reason you should like list a checklist, and how you like handle like I don't know. So because you may not know something, so you should like prepare to answer I don't know. That's a key point. So the second one is like communication. So for the it's tricky things, like you should like simple first, like tell them like just a one sentence answer, then detail it. Like for example, like we we will like reduce the incident time by some improving the alerts. So then you will tell them something like how to improve the system, how to improve the alerts, the system. So that is confidence and communication. So the third one is the behavior framework. I usually using the STAR plus reflection. So what is like start? The start is like first of all is situation. Like you will provide the context, and you should like tell the interviewer like what is the background for your story. The second one is a task, like describe the specific goal you were trying to a- achieve, or like challenge you were facing. The third one is the action, so like detail specific steps you like to complete the task. Focus on what you did and what you archive. So the fourth is a resource, like explain the outcome of your actions, qualify the results whatever possible, and be sure they are positive. So even you like your story is like about like unsuccessful story, so you will tell them like what you get, what you did, and what you get, what is like how to improve it in the future, something like that. So you can also like mention what you learned from your experience. So for the relaxation, you should like tie your answer together by reflecting on the situation. That's like, what did you accomplish? Did you learn anything about yourself? Also, like perhaps like the situation made you a better leader, or like improve your like time management skills. So you will like give the like reflection. I'll give a few like example like um for example like you see for example you see some like system failure during like peak hour. So that is a situation, and you want to like how to resolve like the failure during the peak hour. That is task. Then you will give the action. So like I just like write down some like rollback, run book, or like I added some like structured logs, or I turn on some alerts for the system. So that is action. So what I need to do, then results like I low, such as like failure rates during the peak hour, or I reduce the failure rate to 0 during the like peak hour. That is the result. So also you can see like what I learned, like I learned how to like negotiate like other team. If you I need to know some like structure, the log structure from the upstreaming team. So that reason, like you should like see or what is a reflection. That is for behavior interview. So I use like start for that interview. For system design, usually I'm using the 5-step design walkthrough. So the first one is like requirement analyze. Like first, I so what is the problem and for whom? So I confirm. I will like with the interviewer to confirm the user and the happy path and the lightweight as SLO like server level objective. Like for example, like success rents and like P95 latency, and like I capture like constraints and define a success matrix. We can like measure on day one if anything's like vigor, and I state accomplish the assumption to keep moving. The second one, like I will like start a simple and a safe baseline. Like you can design like simple diagram, not like too complicated. You just like try the box and using the line like connect each other. Such as like client edge to like API, like workers, like data store. So usually I will use like simple diagram for this step, like system architecture, and then I will like dive deep to like or should I use like NoSQL database or not, like MySQL database. So why should I use a NoSQL and why should I use a MySQL database? So for the security, you should like minimize the authentication and authorizer with last privilege. So validate inputs at the edge. So like rent limits and quarters pre identity. Um, I classify the data and the issue encryption in the transition transit and the RESTful API. So that's what I do for like security. So for scale, like I most like foster with back back pressure or queues like front hot with caching and add a read replica before like sharing. I also like set a latency budget for the pre-hop and enable auto scaling with like same limits. So that's for the scalability and the
Yeah,
performance.
for the scaling, can you use the is that when the load balancing comes into play?
Excuse me. Excuse me.
As far as the scale, this, the scaling, is that like when something like the load balancer comes into play?
Uh, yeah, you can use load balance. Yes, of course.
Okay.
So
So,
one request, like we can take up the questions at the end. We appreciate the questions, but if you have questions, please type them in the chat. And once UGA and all other presenters come done with their presentation, we can take up the Q&A. Thank
Oh,
you.
so
Appreciate.
sorry, my computer it looks like freezing. So, can you see my camera moving?
No,
no.
there's no camera.
Okay. Could you give me like 1 minute? I need to restart my computer. Sorry. It's okay.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah. I'll try restart my computer. Sorry.
No worries, no worries. Take your time. In the meantime, if anybody has any questions, this is time you can add into the chat. Also, Karthik and Chris, be ready. There is another 3 minutes left for Ijia to finish his presentation. And Angela, you had any question? I thought like you came on mute.
Oh, I don't have a question. I think I unmuted in error. Sorry.
Okay. So let's make it interesting till Ijia joins and Karthik and Chris. Any one of you, can you quickly share your experience in 2 minutes? How IEEE helped you to secure your job? Karthik, you
I
want
mean,
to
I
go?
c-
Yeah.
yeah, I can go for this. I mean, with IEEE, when you say IEEE, I've been associated with IEEE from my undergrad days in India, and when I also came for my master's here, did meet a couple of professionals who were associated with IEEE. One of the jobs that I actually got at Motional was from a professional networking event where I met one of the engineers working there, and he happened to know one of the hiring managers in his company who was looking for an engineer who had experience testing um, complex hardware systems and having a complete system level experience. So that professional networking via an IEEE event actually helped me secure one of the jobs in my career. Prior to that, it was all like a campus fair, like a career fair in the campus where I secured a job. But then, um, uh, like leaving the conventional medium aside, like where you just go to LinkedIn, look at a job role and then apply for it, or like uh, I think networking for me has been a key aspect in getting
Awesome.
this. And there are also some good resources which I have in my slides, but then that's more for people to read rather than it being. But networking, I would say networking is key.
Awesome. Thanks, Karthik. Hey, Ijia, thanks for coming back. You can continue from where you left. Can you hear us, Ijia? You're not audible.
Can you hear me now?
Awesome. Yes.
Okay. Sorry about that. So my computer freeze. So yeah,
No worries.
I
Yeah.
will restart. So yeah, give me a second. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. for the final one, so it's like error handling. So usually make it like failure tolerance and like timeouts for everywhere. So retry like with the JT and also like avoid like some like critical error. You should like make your customer to know what is going on and what is the error. So probably you should like shoot some like dialogue with the customer like it has a critical error, so you should report like some customer service, something like that. So you should like trade off. That is a system design. I usually using the 4 steps. Walk through with individual, and you should like but usually so you will like talk with the interviewer we should be have lot of like question, so you should decide what is the question, what is the answer, trade-off, what should like limited, what should I do not see that. If you don't know, so I suggest that you like needed to say what you know it, because sometimes if the individual like dive deep, so it's probably pretty hard to answer if you don't know something. So the 5 is like handle like tough moments such as like failure, like I don't know, or about like scope, control, and time pressure. So I usually for the failure, like for example, you can see like I made some mistake during like deployment, like code change I made, but it's failed. Like it increased some like incident during deployment or validation. So that is a situation, and it makes some like instance. So then for the action for how to resolve the instance and how to make sure your code change is safe, and that is action, and you should make sure next time for the code review you should like have the 2 people to review your code and make sure it's read correctly and make it safe. For results, like you can see like I did the code review for every time, every pull request PR. Every time I need to go through with my code change with peers, like 3 peers or 2 peers, that it should be okay. So for the lesson, like you should to say like I know the code review is necessary and it's a requirement, it's a required. So and also you can say code review should be monetary and it's you cannot ignore it. So you should discuss what you change and what is your story. So why you need to go with this change. And for the I don't know, like I see like usually I start with like clarify the goals and constraints. The second one I usually state the assumptions like happy path. The third one like outline the first pass design and the risks unknowns. The first like test a pass, like check logs, like metrics first, like try to reproduce something like that. So usually for the I don't know, I usually give the interview a plan. So what should I to do, and what is the next step? So you cannot simply to say like I don't know, because it will give nothing to the interviewer. So you should like give some plan and what you will do the next. How about the future? So what should you to learn for like some like X scales? Yeah. So for the scope control and the time pressure, so usually under the time pressure, like for a task, like for a project, your manager, your product owner give it to you, it's a pretty it's undocumented or something like it's very urgent. So usually you will like to discuss with your product owner or some team members. You should to know what is the like MVP, the minimum version product for this path. So you will should do that first. Then you should like deep dive like system design. You should you should like list what you will to do for like short period, short like during under the time pressure. So that is a scope, and for the scope for so like you should like list a like diagram and write down some user story, break down the user story to small tasks. Then you can dive in the tasks and you can finish it shortly. So that is like a tough moment. The sixth part is using
sorry to interrupt. You have exactly 2 more minutes to summarize.
what?
You had 2 minutes to summarize.
Okay.
Your
Okay.
presentation. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, sure. So six is using IEEE to prepare. So first of all, you can use IEEE Young Professional and the local sections. So that is section 6. I located in the Bay Area. So you can talk with like someone from the Young Professional. So like link talks, quick feedback loops, like mock interview. So usually I think it's very like efficiency, and you can check the Young Professional website. The second one is IEEE virtual tools events. So usually I can like from the events from this website. Also, you can like sign up alerts, so they will send emails to you, and you will to know like something like fancy events help to for your interviews. The third one is like actually enable the Gemini and the notebook ML. So now you can use that. So it's a very like useful. Also, you can use a ChatGPT or Notion, something like AI tools. So and like other results, I use a lead code. Even like it's a, I think every like engineer use it. So you can choose like a company tag. Also, you can use a hello interview, Reddit net code, Blind 17.5, like Alex Tree books like system design, and I think it's one is called coding pattern, and also like simplify Copilot for the application for your job application. Yeah, that's Q&A. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Any quick questions for UGA? Anybody? Other than there were a few questions we answered in the chat.
Okay.
So they are requesting for this presentation, UGA. So if you can share with us, we will circulate it to all the participants.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will share it. Yeah.
Thank you. On the resume part, we'll take at the end, Cedric. So let's go to Karthik. Karthik, can you please?
Hey,
Yeah, start.
can you hear me? Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. Thanks, Sergio. Thank you for your presentation. Let me just try to share. Oh,
Yeah, Karthik, you have 15 minutes to.
give me 1 minute. Just trying to which one's screen? Just give me a minute. What I'll do, the WebEx on my Mac is giving me an issue. Okay, let's try this if this works. Are you able to see the PowerPoint?
Not it. How
Not
about
yet?
this? Like, no. No, Karthik. If you
Let's
want,
do this. Maybe move over to Christopher. I'll drop the call and join again and change the settings. Probably I think I have to allow um, WebEx to like on my Mac. I need to enable that setting for screen share.
sure. Chris, are you there? Take it up.
Yes, I'm here. Do you hear me?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, great. I don't have a presentation, but I would be happy to share some of my interview experience that would be helpful to IEEE members here. First, I was hired at DTE, my company, full-time and started January 2018. I've actually been in the company since 2014 as a student, if you include those years. When I interviewed for the associate engineer position, this would have been in 2017. I referred to a lot of my student branch experience. That gave me a lot of great opportunities to figure out how I was able to solve problems. In some cases, between getting things going for our branch, and then of course my student internship experience. What Eugenia was talking about earlier was the STAR method, and that's actually something I've been following as well. So that's pretty standard across the board. It's really good that IEEE is using an opportunity like this to talk about the STAR method: situation, task, action, and result. Recently, as I gain more experience, I have pursued internal positions within the company that I work at, and the STAR method is still the standard interview process. And a bit of advice I would provide is some of the steps I take to prepare. So when I find a job that I'm interested in, I will take a look at what the job requirements are and reflect on how my experience aligns with the company's needs for this position. So there have been times where I rewrite my resume and tailor it to the job. And I've been always smart to include the IEEE experience because as the Young Professionals Committee Chair for Region 4, I'm getting a lot of opportunity to work with people and get experience that I don't normally get in the office. So I include that to round out my experience. In fact, going back to the interview itself, I actually interviewed yesterday for an internal position. I want to get into a more elevated engineer position. And so the STAR method is what I followed. And I'll give an example of what I gave in alignment with the STAR method. Situation. In my job, I work in electric utilities, electric distribution for customers. And in our case, I'm working with a lot of customers in downtown Detroit. So there's a lot of urban infrastructure that I'm dealing with our electric distribution system. The situation I had is I had to develop a new system to build into downtown Detroit, and it would replace an old system that's providing power to customers. So I talked about how it was my task to do that and how I took action. So I investigated internally our data, our conduit maps, our electric system topology. I developed a SIME model, if you're familiar with SIME and electric distribution. That's a power systems tool that we use to simulate our system. I developed an entire model of the new network that I'm building. And then I use that data to analyze how the system's going to look in the future. And then the result, I developed a scope, it's been issued to design, and it's in progress. So I was able to complete a STAR that way. But the way I was able to get to that point was that prior reflection to the interview of my experience. I know my experience as an engineer, but sometimes you have to recognize what's most important in the work that you're doing and what's most important to the interviewer, the company that's looking to hire you. IEEE is allowing me opportunities to reflect professionally and to build up that experience. That's what I've been working on recently. So building out what Eugeo was talking about with the STAR method and the experiences I had in interviewing and knowing your experience, it makes me a more effective interviewer. And one last thing I'll make a point about is if you feel like you don't like the direction of your answer after an interview asks a question, it's okay to ask clarifying questions to the interviewer so that you can gain further understanding. I started giving an answer yesterday in my interview, and I didn't like it. I didn't like what I was giving, so I asked the interview, "Can I please stop? I think I have a better example to provide you." And they'll give you that latitude so that you can give them the best representation of your experience. So don't
Awesome.
get nervous if you freeze a little bit. It's okay. Just gather yourself, and then it'll, if you know your experience very well, you'll find something else that will answer the question for the interviewer. And then I had I think the last question they asked me, I actually didn't. I don't think I liked how the question came off, and it was kind of confusing to me. So I said, can you ask it a different way? And I'm trying to understand it. I don't know how I would answer it, that question. And yeah, can you clarify what you're looking for in an answer from me? And he was he actually rephrased the question in a different way, and I said, I think I can answer it. Let me tell you what I've got. And I gave him a pretty good answer. So those are just some bits of advice in interviewing. And then it helps, as you're working and getting more experience, you got to document in your internal reviews, your reviews, like with your boss. I even use that to help me when I'm interviewing for an internal position in my company. That's really helpful so that you reflect on what you did in the past that might actually be valuable in the future. So I think that's what I have to offer. I don't have a presentation, but those are just some thoughts I wanted to share today.
That's great, Chris. Thanks for again emphasizing on the STAR and how to handle yourself when tough question comes in. And it's always good to ask for a clarification on the question and rephrase uh, your experience, your answer to your interviewer. So I have one question for you. Like when you start your interview process, when interviewer asks you, like, tell me about yourself, how you handle this particular basic question when it is asked to you, and because that's an opportunity for you to make use of it. So can you share your experience on that?
When I get asked a question like that, I thank them for asking me the question. I first will remind them what my position is. I'm an engineer. This is what I enjoy most about the job that I'm doing. And I'll tell them why I applied for the position. I applied for this position because I thought that I had I had experience that I think would be valuable to this role. I could bring something that you need on your team. And so I would direct my answer in that direction. So I'm an engineer, and I want to just say I'm an engineer. I would say a few more words, but ultimately I would take it in the direction of why I applied for your job.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you. Thanks for your great insights. We really appreciate that. Uh, there's one question from Lawrence. What do you do if you give an answer to a question and it looks like the interviewer doesn't like your answer?
Hmm.
That's a great question. Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of so if the interviewer doesn't like the answer to a question, it's hard to make a judgment. Usually it's multiple people on the panel. And I continue answering my question. I stick to the requirements of the interview, what they're looking for. I make sure that they get the result that they need from my answer. I think what they do on their side, what I've experienced, is they'll verify I'm good with this answer, and then once they say that, I let it go. I know body language is important, but I think it's more important to stay focused in the interview, because that will play in your mind a little bit, and that could cause the rest of the interview to go off. And then what I do after is I'll reflect on my answers, and I'll think about, could I have answered this question better? Why? And also think about what I felt I did answer well.
Awesome.
So
Great. Yep. With the best interest of time, we will take the questions coming in later, and we are getting to Karthik. But thank you, Chris. It was a really good one. Karthik, you ready?
Yes, let's give it a try now. Are you able to see my screen now?
Yes.
Perfect. Better late than never.
Thank you.
Thank you, Yuji and Chris. I think you guys have spoken some of the points that I already have in my slides, but then what I'll do is I'll still go through my slides and then try to answer the questions that we have from the participants in today's meeting. So to get started, before you even try to get a job, you need to understand the interview landscape. What are the type of interviews that you might encounter? And I say this because there are experienced employees in the market, and there could also be fresh graduates, and there could be a chance that the fresh graduates do not know what are the interview rounds and what are the type of questions that get asked. So first, it's very important to understand the interview landscape depending on your professional experience. Another good thing to do, something which I was not told when I started the job market, was you have to research into the company, look at what the company does, what its missions are, what is its culture, what do the employees say on social platforms. Back in 2010, we didn't have much of that. It was just word of mouth. Like, if you knew someone who worked in this company, he or she would then say, hey, this is a great company to work for. I enjoy the work here. So today, with a lot of resources, like I believe UJ, you mentioned Blind, this Glassdoor, you could do your thorough research on like what the company culture is, what the atmosphere is, and how productive the employees are when they work in that culture. And more importantly, what I've seen in my experience in the US is uh, it's very important that you map your skills to the job description. Sometimes you could see that, hey, I don't check this point in the job description. Hey, I don't match this checklist. They've asked for C++, but then you could also use Python and other programming languages to strengthen your case and apply for a role. So it's important that you actually map your skills. And first, even before proceeding to apply, you have to introspect to see whether this is the role that you want to do. It's not something that you're doing just for the sake of doing it. Whether this role is something that can get the best out of you. I think that's my personal perspective when I try looking for job roles and a potential switch. So this is something that I'm sharing from my personal experience. Moving on to the next, this is very important. Yujiya highlighted this, Chris highlighted this. Often, what we focus on during interview preparations is we just focus on the technical stuff, and hey, this is uh, this is how we designed the system. This is how I reviewed requirements. This is how I tested the system. But what what is important is, as an employee working in a corporation, what were the potential situations that you faced? How did you encounter that? What actions did you take, and what was the result of that approach or the method that you had with your team? In most of the technical rounds, this is often highlighted, but nowadays I've seen people use this even in other than the managerial round. Even team members uh, are asking these questions just to see whether the potential employee is a good fit for the team, and not just at the managerial rounds. So it's important that you gather every aspect from your professional experience or even educational experience. Like you could have uh, project experiences at your undergrad or grad level where you encounter issues, and how did you resolve it with your team members. So it's very important to note documentation of how you solved a problem is very important. Chris highlighted on that. I cannot stress any higher that whatever you have done in your project, please highlight it, because you might remember it today, you might remember it tomorrow, but you might not know it 6 months from now. And sometimes these things in life help you get your next job. Um, the And of course, like the technical and the behavioral readiness, I think everyone's super focused on the technical when it comes to interviews, so that need not be stressed a lot. The one thing what I can say from my cultural background is, like, with if English is not your primary language, then it's very important that you understand and you are able to articulate and communicate effectively what you want to say. So this is a key point that I would like to highlight to this audience, that uh, practice speaking in front of a mirror. Just do not uh, go preparing with all the technical questions and not practicing in front of a mirror, because while it sounds weird that you're listening to yourself or you're looking at yourself, trust me, it actually adds value and improves your actual performance in the interview. So it's a key part of your preparation for the interview. And then the one thing what I always focus on for any interviews is show how you're going to be a good fit for that role and the organization. I think that's key. Like, everyone focuses on technicals. We are all engineers. We all have some level of degrees to our professional resume. But what is it that we bring to the table other than our technical skills? So for me, personality is a big thing. You make sure that you bring a very positive, confident attitude to work. Make sure that you're a team player rather than being a very silo focused. That's very key. Like, even when I was a hiring manager in my previous company, the one thing I looked at for people is their confidence, their energy, the enthusiasm to learn something new, not what you know. And then uh, it's very important that you have to be curious, you have the energy and the enthusiasm to learn more and, like, go out of your comfort zone. And then the one thing, a day before the interview or during the interview, yeah, even before a day before the interview, or like, let's say even an hour before the interview, just be relaxed, be calm. It's okay. It's just a job. Uh, it's 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 just one company, one job. Try to give your best. Avoid over preparing. Remove all the negative thoughts that you have, and just stay positive about it. Have positive affirmations. Talk to yourself. Make sure that, hey, I want to be the best version of myself today. Do not focus on the results. You just say that, okay, I knew this much till yesterday. Now I'm a little better because I prepared something more, and I'm confident on this subject matter, or on this topic, and I've learned something more. just try to be the better version of yourself on the day of that interview, and try to bring that to the table. And of course, during the interview, I think often the most neglected thing in any interview is, and then this is something which, like when I completed my undergrad and went in the professional world, is the first impression is actually very important. Now it's like whether like back in India, I can say that we wore formals. Like it was not common practice for us to wear like a polo and jeans and go to your office on your first day. So it was like, so for us, it's basically wearing a formal attire, like being clean shaved, making sure that and then making sure you're clean shaved, and then when you meet the person, it's very important that you have a very confident handshake, a firm handshake, and then a very confident voice. And by confident voice, I mean like, hey, you're looking forward to the interview today, and then that's the energy you want to transmit to the other person and to the audience in the room. So that for me is very important even today. And of course, after the COVID era, it when we did not have in-person interviews, it's like have a good internet connection. That's probably the first uh, impression that you make in this virtual interview setting. And then I think Yuji and Chris mentioned this in their presentation. It's like there can be moments in the interview that can be there, like when the interviewer asks you a question, you might not understand what the real intention or what the complete question actually meant. So it's a good practice for you to clarify before answering, because I've seen candidates when I was hiring where I just gave a question to them, and without even thinking, they just started blurting out something without even thinking whether that was what I wanted as an answer. So if I think a good impression that you can make on the interviewing panel is also ask clarifying questions to say whether, hey, this is what I understood, and then proceed if they acknowledge to your question. Also ask questions about the roles and organization during when it is, I think in the end of the interview, they give you some time to ask questions. That's often one of the most underlooked um, section in the interview, but I think that also makes an impression about how you as a candidate are eager or excited to be part of that team. So also ensure that you're doing this. And of course, that being said, during the entire process of the interview, this is the key. Whatever you spend, whatever minutes you spend in that interview, whether it's in person or in the Zoom, it's very important that everything that you speak during the meeting is to convince the team that you are the right person for the job. So it's very important that this is taken into consideration and practiced. Like even when, and that's where a few slides ago when I mentioned communication is important. So be in front of a mirror. Try to be like this, the interviewer and the interviewee at the same point, and then try to practice potential situations. And I think I totally get what Chris mentioned. I often do this. Sometimes you may not like your answer that you gave in the moment, but then an interview is a stress. It's a stressful process because you are maybe on a visa. You have a certain time to get a job. Otherwise, it affects your status. So with all that being considered in consideration, it's a stressful period. But then the key to cope with this is like, even if you fumble, even if you, let's say, are not happy with your answer, uh, seek a clarification question to say, as Chris said, like uh, you can actually ask the team that, hey, can I rephrase my answer again? Because I'm not a little uh, pleased with the answer that I gave. And generally, if the team are not very I mean, generally in the interviews, they are quite flexible. So the team should be giving you the opportunity again. So it's a process where it's a feedback. So even if you're not happy with your answer, just don't give that look on your face. Just like sometimes you might just say, and then you might make that face, and then that gives a negative uh, impression to the interview panel. So what I would do if I fumble in my answer is I reach out to the interview team and then hey, I'm not pleased with this answer. Can I rephrase this again? So I think that was also a question someone asked in the chat. So I hope this piece of advice helps. And then a good practice after the interview, after reflecting on your performance, is also thank all the interviewing panel or the HR if you don't have details of the other interview panel members. Highlight the key experience that you had with the interview panel members. It's very important that you note which panel member asked what question and who tested you from a technical perspective. So try to add that, because then all this adds value to your feedback process when they all gather in a round table. Then it's also a good practice to send LinkedIn invites to your hiring to the hiring team or the interviewing panel. And then the job market, like we give this interview. Not all interviews work in our favor, but do not let any interview disappointments keep you down, because it's just one company. It's a hustle. You just keep learning from experiences and then move on to the next one, because you might not get the first four, but eventually you might nail the fifth one. So do not give up. Just keep learning from uh, what you faced from your interview experiences, and just keep the positive attitude going forward, because without that, all of this is meaningless. So yeah, with that, I'll conclude my short presentation.
Thanks a lot, Karthik. It was really great. Emphasize you all three, like done on STAR. So STAR actually makes you win your interviews or makes you to win your situation even if you are already in job. So that's the best way to present yourself and best of yourself. So thank you. There was this one particular question from Genesis. Eugenia already answered that. Thanks, Eugenia. But I would ask this question to Karthik. Um, if what tips do you have to do well in internship interviews for a student who has who has no industry experience?
So I think for people with no industry experience, it's very important that like if they're at the undergrad or graduate levels, that they have to choose projects which are partnered with the industry, because it's very important that, because a lot of undergrad or grad students take certain credits just to get the degree, but then do not focus on the project or whether it has any practical relevance to what the industry is. So it's important that now when I did my master's like 12 years ago, like I was very focused on what I wanted to do. I started in the automotive world. I did my master's in electrical engineering, focusing on hybrid electric vehicles and controls. So I was quite focused. And then I worked in India in an automotive company. I came here for my master's, focused on projects that were particularly cutting edge with respect to with respect to the industry. So I would I would advise the students to focus on projects that are relevant to the industry. So now if you're a recent graduate student and I'm not up to date with the latest curriculum in universities at a master's level or undergrad, if you have any courses related to AI, do some projects with respect to AI, and then use the STAR process that Yujiya Chris and me mentioned to say, while you do not have that industry experience, it's important that you've at least done some projects and have been stuck at a particular situation and what steps you took to move forward to for the project resolution. So that would be my advice.
Awesome. Thank you. So I'll ask the same question to Chris. If you want to enlighten your viewpoint on that. How did you like present yourself when you started fresh?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no worries. Chris, do you want me to
You
repeat the
guys hear
question?
me? You guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. When I was a student, this is probably about 11 or 12 years ago, when I was in early undergraduate, I focused on the projects that I had in class. I at that point, the STAR method was not very familiar to me, but as a young student, I looked for opportunities to see where I looked at my projects. How did I act within the project? What kind of tasks did I have, and what did I do to take action? And then in the interviews, I recall from getting in as an intern, they wanted to know how I came to that solution. So my advice, if you're not somebody who has a lot of experience, like work experience, focus on your projects at school, and not just do the project, but also reflect on how you came to your conclusions, how you developed a solution for the project that you're working on. I also worked on the weekends, so there was a lot of opportunities there to work and collaborate with others, but it wasn't engineering related. But those offer opportunities for dealing with other people. That's another important part of the job. I think those are valuable experiences to look at too. I recall helping my cousin applying for his first jobs out of college, and we looked at his projects and all the things that he did, and we were able to bring out the experience within the project work, but I also looked at the hourly work that he did to make money for himself at that time, which was an engineering work, and there was a lot of value in that as well. It's always good to volunteer. Volunteer wherever you can. You'll get a lot of valuable experience and interactions that you don't normally get in the classroom.
Awesome. Yeah. Yeah, I
Thank you.
would also like emphasize. Thank you. Thanks for that. Highlight your favorite project, highlight your favorite subject, highlight your favorite conference you attended or something you presented where you can talk in depth with the technical details. So that would definitely help. So, Dr. Kumudri, please.
Yeah, I just wanted to add to that in case they don't have any project experience, even the hobbies that you have, identify potential skill sets that you have gained over the years, right? Right from your childhood. Maybe it could be your empathy, or it could also be something like you are very good with observational skills, or you have great communication skills or abilities. You volunteered at specific places. You tend to read a lot, and you kind of put that together, you summarize very well. So make sure you identify those skill sets that you have, and also highlight them in case you do not have specific project experience. Because all of it is also about how you can, present yourself and say, what kind of an asset I will be to the company itself. So identifying that, and even if it doesn't necessarily come up in the interview process, it's always good to know, like, what are your strengths, your weaknesses, what are the skill sets you have, and what are the gaps, and how do you address those gaps, because that also would add on eventually, so that you become a better version of yourself, like Karthik and Chris and all the others were mentioning as well. Yeah, thanks.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. There are last two questions. After that, we will wind up for the day. So the next question is like any advice on questions related to leadership in early career roles. If you haven't led teams before, how you cope up with to be a leader in early stage of your career? Eugenia, do you want to enlighten if you have any answer for that question?
Um, the leadership in early career role. So I feel like if you like in the university, so you probably I can see like tutoring, so such as like tutoring leader or like so usually you can focus on like Amazon 14 leadership principle, so much as your like college like life. Um, Let me give you an example. Um, Such as um, you can see like for um, like you should be a leader for some project and um, collecting some information from the other students to make sure your project going in progress and going well. And you can also see like I collect some questions from your from your team member to make a project, and you collect the question and send to the like um, the section leader or like professor to get some like answer from them and summarize the information and share to your team member. So that means you leader a team to make a project. Also, you can see you usually make some like hold a brainstorming, so you collect some information from your team member, like trade off something you will do and something you will not to do. So that's it kind of like leadership during your like in your university. Because it's for the early career roles, so I think similar. So during early career, you can see like you help your team leader to resolve some issue. That is like early career like um I think it presents some like leadership. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you. Yeah, like you can shadow to your leader, learn from your existing leader. If you haven't done that particular role, so you will learn from your leader, and you will be admiring particular leader whose style is really good to reach out to all the team members and motivating. So you can scale up on that by copying or mirroring your leader to start with. But eventually, you will scale up your own leadership as you progress and as you become seasoned with the challenges. So,
I have some insight, if you don't mind.
sure, Chris. Yep. Yeah.
Leadership. The way I view that question is, how would a student intern, a co-op, be given opportunity for leadership? I think that's going to come when, let's say, your leader provides you a project that you got to get done, and you're not going to know anything about that. You're not going to know anything, any technical details, or you're going to have to kind of figure things out. And so I think when you're in your early stages, you got to analyze what your leader gives you, and then you got to find the things that you have to clarify about the project, the expectations, and that's where questions come. So I recommend that you ask a lot of questions, thoughtful questions, because that's going to give you, because that's how you're going to find out how you take the next step in that project, and that's where you begin to lead. That's how leadership grows in a young employee, a student. So that would be my insight to that. Once you're more experienced, it's going to change, and you're going to be able to take that next step or two wherever you need to. But when you're early on, be patient. ask questions, listen, and then think before you act.
Awesome, Chris.
Yeah,
That was
I would also like to add a point here. Like I think one of the often misinterpreted thing about leadership is it's not something that needs to be bestowed upon you as a title. Um, when you land a job, when you land yourself in a team, whatever role you're given, first you be excellent in the role that you are working in the team. First, be very good, and then once you have done your part, try to see whether there are other team members that need help or where you can help the teams. Part of becoming a leader is like first being good at what you do, and second, being there for the team, and then caring for the team. And this is something, because if you earn the respect of your team, then you're a leader. It's not like you just need to be a manager and then you need to take status from 15 people. That's not leadership. I mean, I come from the electrical industry. I don't know how the software industry works, but then for us, it's a patient game. Like you have to know, like I've seen professionals in like with 2 years or 3 years of experience being a senior engineer right now, whereas in our electrical engineering domain, that doesn't happen before 7 to 10 years. And so it's I mean, I may be old school, but it's like I think it's better to wait for things to come. There's a saying in English like good things take time. So just be patient, follow the process methodically, make sure that you know everything in your profession, and then eventually it will come back to you. Do not just be chasing a title just because that looks good on your LinkedIn resume or like uh well that's my take. But then it's something that has to come intrinsic. Like no one has to bestow a title to you. Like you can be a bona fide leader in the team even without having that title, and that is reflected by the actions that you show in how you show up to work every day, how you deal with your coworkers, how you report status to management. All this is extremely important.
Thanks, Karthik. Yes, Dr. Kumudini.
Thank you. Thank you, Ram. So, as much as I agree with all of you, and certainly agree that leadership does not necessarily have to come with position, but as a young person or an early career person, I still think it's also about how you are proactive with your role and also outside of your role. So one is, yes, you have to be a team player, you have to do your job right. So that is not negotiable. But at the same time, there are a whole lot of other things that are happening within the organization where you could take a leadership position, in the sense you can volunteer for some activities, you can actually take up other things like CSR related activities, or something to do with the marketing. There are so many things that are happening within the organization that don't necessarily fall into the purview of your project or your work itself. But there are always opportunities that you can, make the most of and gain the visibility. But the other thing that Ram was also mentioning, shadowing your leader, shadowing your boss, and understanding what it is that they are doing, and preparing yourself for those eventual movements and all of that also add to this entire thing. So be proactive about it. Look for how you can support not just your team, but also the organization at large, and take a chance on yourself and take certain risks as well, because I think leadership is also about putting yourself out there and giving it your best. That's my take on it.
Thanks a lot, Kumudini. Thank you. That's really well sounded answer. So I liked about that particular risk you have to take to be a leader. So you have to stand apart from everybody else. Like it's not about being so impulsive, but you should be taking calculated risk and have action to action plan to execute that particular risky situation. So, and Karthik, you mentioned about wait for that to happen or wait for that good time to come. But I have seen, like in the latest trend and the latest generation, it's all about startups. So they are going for startups and they are becoming a leader in early life of their phase. So they have to manage themselves as well as the team. So there is not just the title as you rightly mentioned. You have to have that. You have to hone those skills to be a leader. So you will copy or you will imbibe those skills by referring to anybody in your life. Like it could be some sports person, it could be some like any person from political or any other industry you are like referring to him as idol. So yeah, but what I'm trying to say here is that generation is going fast and they are trying to become leader at early stage and they are ready to take risks. That's what I have seen. So thanks to all of you for giving your like best presentations today and giving your best advice to all the young professionals. Thanks to Yujiya, Karthik, and Chris coming us with us today here and sharing your experience. I don't see any outstanding questions, so I think it's good time to wind up. If there are any questions, please send us an email to all the other participants I'm requesting. If you have any questions, you can shoot us an email. Yeah, so the presentation decks will be shared, circulated to all the participants. And again, thanks everyone, and wishing you all the best for the 30th October.
Thank you and
Yeah.
wish you all a
Thank you.
great day.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
for having me.
Thank you.